Yeah.
You can watch a bunch of YouTube videos, change your style, get a good skincare routine, go to the gym, all of which are good things you should definitely do.
Bro, what the f is this? God damn. I hate it when I see dudes. It's like they call them cum gutters. I'm sorry. I got it from Joe Rogan. That is something, a term a white man would invent. Why you need to increase your testosterone level ASAP. Video by The Update. This is sort of a companion video to the reaction I just posted. We talked about 7 habits that are making you ugly and broke. And during that video, I spoke about the importance of testosterone. And so let's dive a little bit deeper with this video, because truly, I think the grand majority of men are completely unaware of how they are shooting themselves in the leg, crushing their testosterone, and they're completely ignorant of the fact that there is this hormone chemical that they can literally produce in their balls that can transform their person and their life in a ridiculous way in a very quick period of time if they were simply to become aware of this and start doing the right things. So let's go.
I'm going to be honest with you for a sec. If you don't have a high level of testosterone, you're probably not going to get a good glow up. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
You can watch a bunch of YouTube videos, change your style, get a good skincare routine, go to the gym, all of which are good things you should definitely do.
Bro, what the fuck is this? God damn. I hate it when I see dudes. It's like they call them cum gutters. I'm sorry. I got it from Joe Rogan. That is something, a term a white man would invent. So nasty sounding. But I mean, bro, what the, why so low? Why so low, bro? Not necessary.
But without an adequate level of testosterone in your body, even though you'll achieve results, you won't really be able to maximize them.
Right.
Testosterone makes sure your body is functioning at a maximum level. It affects how your muscles grow, how masculine your face looks, it affects your hair, and even your mental well-being. A good balanced T changes the game for real. It comes with a different level of confidence. Literally. According to research conducted by Harvard University and the University of Oregon, higher levels of testosterone are directly responsible for increased feelings of confidence.
How many times have I seen people ask, especially in looksmaxxing videos or whenever there are videos talking about self-improvement for men, one of the big things that people ask is, how do I gain confidence? How am I become more confident? Because we all know that dude who was confident talking to chicks at 14, at 16. He didn't have a ton of experience with girls, but yet he just was confident. He didn't care about the possibility of getting rejected. If he got rejected, he laughed it off, and he was just assertive. Or that translates to sports. This is the dude, it doesn't care if you're talking shit. It doesn't care if they're down. He keeps shooting. He keeps playing with the confidence that he's really that good. This is not something you can think yourself into achieving. There is a biological component, and that component is your testosterone. Let's keep it pushing.
But how do you identify if you have low T? There are a couple of signs. You don't have to have all the signs, but if you have a majority of them, you should probably see a doctor and get your T levels tested. Low energy. If you're constantly low on energy and don't have the motivation to grind or go out or do anything. Skinny fat. If you're throwing everything you have at working out, from dieting to lifting weights, and you're not getting swole, you're still skinny fat with man boobs, it's probably because the levels of estrogen and testosterone are not balanced in your body. Sex drive. If your sex drive dips and you find you're not even interested in sex. Low body and facial hair. If you start losing volume in your beard or your body hair starts thinning, chances are your testosterone is dipped. Dark mood. If you're depressed out of nowhere and you're always snapping at the smallest things, then you probably have low T. ED. If you constantly can't get it up, you probably have low levels of testosterone. High-pitched voice. If you're a man that sounds like an 8-year-old girl, something's wrong. If you've tried every technique to make sure your voice sounds manly and it doesn't, you probably have low levels of testosterone. Now, like I said, Having one of these signs or symptoms might not be anything to worry about, but if you have the majority, you definitely need to see your doctor and get your...
Also, if you have shitty sleep, I guarantee you your testosterone levels are low compared to where they could be. That is the number one determinant factor for your T levels. If you eat a regular diet, like you're getting fats and protein in your diet, you're getting some amount of sunlight, you're somewhat active, you're under the age of 30, really the only thing standing in your way of having healthy levels of testosterone is your sleep, bro. It is the thing. Sleep and alcohol. Sleep and alcohol, these are the two things. They're like kryptonite to your testosterone, bro. And so if you drink alcohol on even an occasional basis, especially beer, but other forms of alcohol as well, they wreak havoc on your testosterone. Every once in a while, of course, that's not a big deal. But if you're someone who's drinking on a weekly basis, that's got to stop. If you at least want to become a fucking alpha Chad, and or if your sleep is dog shit. What qualifies as dog shit sleep? Anytime you're going to bed on a consistent basis after 10 p.m. or if you are, now I want to put an asterisk on that. There are some people who are biologically wired to sleep a little bit later. There are some people who not every single person is wired exactly the same. You know, you might want to talk to a sleep expert. However, I think it's safe to say you're always going to be good going to sleep before 10. That's always a healthy time to fall asleep. I wouldn't chance it, but hey, listen, you know your body. You know your body. If you're the kind of person who goes to bed at 11 and you wake up at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., and you feel refreshed and recharged and you have energy and you wake up with vigor and you're waking up with a boner. Yeah, that's real. You remember when that used to happen all the time? When you were 14? That's supposed to keep happening, bro, well into your 30s. If that's how you're waking up and you're the kind of person who goes to bed at 11, 12, keep doing you, bro. My bad. But if you're waking up, if you're going to bed after 10 and you wake up even if you get 7 to 8 hours of sleep and you're waking up and it's still like, getting up, you feel lethargic, you feel tired, you're not waking up with morning wood, more than likely that is you're going to bed too late. But regardless of whatever time you go to bed, if you are getting less than 8 hours of sleep a night, that's shit sleep, bro. 6 to 8 is like, meh, all right. But bro, we're not. You want to be fucking Superman or not, dude? Do you want to burn fat easily? Do you want to? You ever wonder why it is? Think about this. I remember being 16 years old, bro, and being able to eat literally fucking anything. I didn't count calories. And I just burnt through shit, bro. Why? Because your testosterone levels at that age are through the fucking roof, dude. When you're on the back end of puberty, it's your body's literally trying to morph itself into becoming its grown man version. So your testosterone levels are higher. There's also other things going on to maximize the effects of testosterone on your body. So this really, it matters that no matter what age you are, right? You would be taller. See, here's the truth. You probably would have been taller if you were getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep, going to bed before 10 p.m. since you were a kid. That's a fact. If you all your life have been going to bed, like once you entered into puberty or even before that, you were going to bed routinely past midnight, not getting a lot of sleep, you're probably 2 inches shorter than you were supposed to be, bro. I'm sorry to break the news to you. You know, it's just, bro, this is the power. This is the power of sleep, testosterone, human growth hormone. That's also produced when you're asleep at the correct time. So pay attention.
T levels tested. But even if you don't have low T,
And you can go ahead and do that, by the way. You can go and get your testosterone tested for very, very cheap.
as a man, you should be doing everything you can to keep your T levels at a good level. So there are a couple things that you can do on your own without taking any supplements that can ensure your testosterone levels are at an adequate level. All these steps are completely natural, so you don't have to worry about any side effects. Get rid of plastic. Plastic is not just bad for the environment, it's bad for testosterone. Most plastics contain a chemical.
Yeah, bro, I need to phase out plastic bottles, but I'm telling you, your sleep is the most important thing. Yeah, all this other shit they're going to talk about in this video is important. I'm literally going to phase plastic out of my life. But bro, you can phase out the plastic. You can do all the fucking steps he's about to go over in this video. If you're not getting good sleep, it's fucked, bro. It doesn't even matter. It's like, you might as well not even try.
Called bisphenol A, or BPA. And this chemical is known as an endocrine disruptor. An endocrine disruptor is basically a hormone disrupting chemical that mimics naturally producing hormones.
Just for transparency, they say a healthy testosterone range is between 350 and 1,000. I just got mine checked. It came back at 750, which is considered, you know, on the higher end of normal. But I know for a fact, just looking at my lifestyle, I have been seriously handicapping my testosterone, bro. And since I've started to address these things primarily through addressing sleep, bro, crazy.
It's like estrogen.
I'm excited to go get my testosterone tested again in 2 months. I won't be surprised if that shit's in the 900s, bro. I mean, just think about it. You have two guys. They're training just about the same level of intensity. They have the same diet. Or just take the same guy. He's training in the gym. He has his diet. He's getting however much sleep he's getting. He starts injecting testosterone into his body as a performance-enhancing drug, right? A PED, it's a steroid. It's a hormone your body naturally produces, but people who want to perform better athletically, they take extra testosterone. What happens to him? His muscles get bigger and he gets leaner. He doesn't cut any calories. In fact, he probably starts eating more because he's hungrier now, because he's putting on more muscle and his muscles are hungry for food and energy. But without doing literally anything else. Of course, this is someone who is already training in the gym, right? This is not a sedentary person. Just by injecting testosterone into his body, he will get leaner. His face will become more chiseled. His muscles will become bigger. He'll have more energy. He'll become more assertive and more confident just by doing that. Guys, if you are doing things that are hindering your testosterone production, you know what? That's great news. You should feel, when I started learning about this shit, bro, I was overjoyed. When I learned that my sleep habits and me drinking alcohol occasionally and all, you know, primarily the sleep thing, but the other things as well were crushing my testosterone or handicapping my testosterone, I was overjoyed because I realized I essentially have the potential to give myself a shot of testosterone by fixing these things. It's going to take me to a whole nother level, man. And it will take you to a whole nother level as well.
And there's research that shows when men are exposed to this chemical, it can cause them to gain weight, lower their libido, reduce muscle mass, reduce sperm count, lower sperm motility, and disrupt metabolic pathways that deny the production of testosterone. And the wild thing is, we're just basically living with a disruptor all around us. Most of us have stuff around us that's made of plastic, from the chair you sit on to some of your food containers. And I know that it can be hard to completely avoid plastic, but you can still be aware and take the necessary steps to reduce plastic in everyday life, which will allow you to live a healthier life and naturally.
And I'm a big advocate for the 80-20 rule. Don't go out of your fucking mind trying to achieve perfection, bro. This is 2025. You're not going to attain a plastic-free life unless you become neurotic about it and obsessive about it. And at that point, I feel like you've already missed the majority of the benefits. For me personally, the two major areas in my life where I feel like I'm exposed to plastics is drinking out of water bottles, because I have the plastic water bottles that I get from the supermarket, and food containers, right? When you buy various, sometimes you buy some shit, it goes in the fridge, it comes in a plastic bottle. I'm thinking personally, all I got to do is attain a setup where I'm no longer buying plastic water bottles for drinking, which is very simple. I just need to get a reverse osmosis machine to put underneath my sink, and bada boom, bada bang, I can just drink that water instead. And even that isn't going to be completely free of all the various, bullshit. But at least you get rid of the plastic stuff and a lot of the toxins. And the second thing would be, whenever possible, buy food that doesn't come in plastic containers, or if it does come in a plastic container, transfer it to a glass packaging or a paper packaging. But again, I don't think this is the big thing, bro. I don't think plastic is the big fucking thing that's killing your testosterone. Let's keep it pushing.
Boost your testosterone levels. And you don't have to cut plastic out at once. You can start with a few items and work your way up to a life without plastic all around you.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's possible. You just need discipline. Dopamine addiction. If you're
Trust me, bro, I've been drinking so much fucking water out of these plastic bottles. My testosterone is still pretty high. I don't think it's plastic, bro. My sleep has been dog shit until I fixed it. I'm telling you, don't overly worry about plastic. Yeah, if you can address it, but that's not the big thing, bro.
Someone who's addicted to playing video games or watching porn, your T levels might be dropping. In a study conducted by the Journal of Sexual Medicine, it was found that men who played video games had lower libido than those who didn't. And the one reason this happens is because games can be too stressful to play. This leads to a condition called hyperprolactinemia, which increases the level of prolactin in the body, which causes a decrease in testosterone. Also, while you're playing video games, it leads to a steady stream of dopamine in your body. The same can be applied if you're addicted to watching porn. When you watch porn, you get a hit of dopamine, which then dips when you're done. If you're watching it every other day, it can lead to desensitization to sexual stimuli, which can decrease arousal and lead to difficulties achieving and maintaining an erection. Also, playing games and watching porn disrupt your sleep cycle, which cause a dip in your testosterone.
This is the big thing, bro. It's sleep. We're watching this video really just for me to have another excuse to tell you niggas you need to prioritize sleep. If anything, video games and porn, the big way in how they fuck your testosterone is that those are activities that young men usually engage in late into the night. And that's really what's fucking you up, bro. Yeah, dopamine overstimulation is a thing, but it's the sleep, bro. Keep it going.
So it's,
of course, reduce your porn consumption, cut it out completely if you can. Reduce your video game consumption, cut it out completely if you want to, I guess. Again, everything in moderation, bro. I don't think neither of those things are, a fucking death sentence either to your personality, your success potentiality, or your testosterone levels. Like doing those things on occasion, I don't think so. But definitely, of course, if you're chronically addicted to these things, yeah, that's fucking you up. But definitely if it's keeping you up at night.
high time to break this addiction if you want to maintain a good level of testosterone in your body. Get exercise. Living your life just sitting around and not being involved in a sport or working out is one of the worst things you can do to your T levels.
Huge right here,
bro. Being active and working out has been proven to naturally increase levels of testosterone in men.
Yeah.
So even if you don't like going to the gym, there are tons of other ways you can be active. You can play a competitive sport, box, do calisthenics, Muay Thai, and much more. You can even stay home and download workout programs on your phone. Just find a good routine of physical exercise that works for you.
Nothing beats weightlifting for testosterone production. Yeah, these other things are good, especially competitive things. I actually do intuitively believe that engaging in competitive activities does encourage testosterone production, physical competitive activities. So hooping, boxing, jujitsu, anything where you're competing against another person and you're expending yourself physically, I do believe is going to encourage testosterone production. But none of those things can replace weight training, resistance training, lifting heavy shit, bro. Literally, your body, here's why. Because when you challenge your body to lift heavy shit, your body interprets that as a need, a necessity to put on more muscle. Guess what your body needs to produce in order to make your muscles grow? Testosterone. And so that's why weightlifting is the king of physical exercise for testosterone production. So if you can do nothing else physically, you definitely want to weight train. And even if you are doing other physical things, you still want to weight train. Me personally, if you're not someone who loves lifting weights, bro, you know what I've been doing lately? I've only been doing machine shit, bro, personally. I've only been doing machine shit lately. I'm not saying this is the way or what you need to do. But that's what I've been doing. I've been getting great results, feeling very sore. It just becomes about moving, moving shit in a heavy way, bro. Moving in a powerful way. It takes so much out of the equation. It becomes simple. Also, a lot of people don't use the machines. People more gravitate to the free weights, I've realized. I'm not saying I'm never going to use free weights again. And in fact, I still will use free weights like once a week to do certain exercises. But push, pull legs, when I'm doing the big compound movements, I'm doing the machines. I feel like I can push harder because they're safer. It's taking the stability component out of the equation, and people are like, oh well, that's important. I guess to a degree, you know what I'm saying? I guess, but I play basketball, you know what I'm saying? I do other things that I think help me with balance and agility and moving my body in certain ways. And also, I don't know. I just don't give a fuck, bro. They say that shit matters. I don't know. I'm not a sports fitness person. And like I'm saying, I'm not saying you got to only do machines. But if you are, and you don't have to do machines at all. I'm just saying, if you're somebody who is intimidated by the gym or doesn't like lifting weights, I think you will find sticking to the machines more appealing, more tolerable. I know plenty of older lifters who pretty much primarily only use machines. It's a great way to avoid injuries, and you're still going to get strong as fuck, and you're going to get swole as fuck. You know, the fucking stability muscle. I don't know, nigga, what the fuck are you doing in normal life? Lifting up a couch, lifting up a box? Yeah, I doubt you benching 250 pounds using hammer strength machines is like, oh, you're going to injure your arm because you are doing that instead of benching 215 on the bench press. Like, it's bullshit, bro. Because regular people who don't work out already can do those basic things. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you preparing for? That day you have to fucking deadlift a car? Bro, nah. So I don't think that's something you need to really worry about. And again, not trying to dissuade anyone from doing free weights. And I'm not anti-free weights at all. I'm just saying, again, if you're the kind of person who has found being consistent in the gym difficult, if you're intimidated by the gym, if you just don't like working out at the gym, I would encourage you to try doing the machines. Just stick to the machines, the guided machines, right? Try that out.
And lift heavy. Focus on progressive overload, and this will have a positive impact on your T levels. Your sleep. If you think you can go to bed at any time and wake up at any time, not only do you have a sedentary lifestyle, you're also killing your T levels.
Yeah.
An average person needs at least 8 hours of sleep. And I'm not talking 8 hours from the moment you get into bed. No, I'm talking 8 hours from the moment you actually fall asleep. So if you know you have to wake up at 6 a.m. for school or work, then you go to bed by 10 p.m., right? Wrong.
Right.
This is because for a majority of people, your body doesn't fall asleep the moment you lay on your bed. So you actually need to be on your bed at least an hour, I'll recommend 2 to 3 hours, before your sleep time. And the time is even longer when you're on your phone, because if you see something that grabs your attention, your mind's going to want to process it, and that can extend your wind down period.
Yeah.
You need to have at least 5 sleep cycles every night, so that when you wake up, you're fully energized and your body is healed. And the quality of the sleep really plays an important role on your T levels as well. If you're someone whose sleep is constantly interrupted, or if you are already sleep deprived, you'll need more sleep to make up for it.
Yeah.
So I cannot stress how important it is that you build a routine of waking up at a specific time, going to bed at a specific time, and not using your phone or other devices that can induce stress at least 2 to 3 hours before hitting bed.
Yeah. So me personally, I stopped looking at screens by around 7 p.m. It's actually just hit 7 p.m. right now. So I'm going to be hopping off this pretty soon. And then I have a bedtime routine now. So I take a warm shower. You got to do that. It helps your body it just helps you fall asleep more easily. I get my house as cool as possible. Now, if you're a single dude or if you live with people who like it cold, that's amazing. If you can get that bitch down to like between 65, 67 on the thermostat, get that shit nice and cold, that's amazing. It helps you to fall asleep more easily. Unfortunately, I have to compromise because I live with a woman and women don't like it that cold. I don't know what it is about their biology. They are always complaining about the cold at office and at home. It's just their biology, I guess. But I've got my wife to compromise, and we've agreed 70. We can get it down to 70. Bro, when I was a single guy, my shit was fucking at 68 all fucking day, bro. 70 for what? You know what I'm saying? But shit is what it is. And so, I do 70, but then I cut the fan on. And so, is what it is. However cool you can get it. And look, some people, you might be watching this and you don't live in an area where you got air conditioning. You might live in a tropical area. Point is, get that room as cool as you can. Work with what you got to work with. Taking a warm shower before helps. Cutting off all screens and all that. In fact, I got these blue light glasses that I would typically be wearing when I'm not on camera and I still got to be in front of the screen after a certain time, like after 7. And, you want to work out early in the day, get sunlight exposure early in the day. You want to stop eating at least 3 hours before you want to go to sleep. So for me, I try to eat my last meal by 5 p.m. 5 p.m. give me plenty of time. It's just harder for you to sleep with a full stomach. Some other things. Yeah, you want to not being in front of screens is huge for 2 hours before you go to sleep. So I want to be in bed by 9 o'clock the latest so that I can be asleep by 10. But if I can get in bed earlier than 9, like even as early as 8, I'll do that so that I give myself even more ample time to fall asleep. And then here's the big thing, no alarm clocks. Now, I have the blessing, the good fortune of working from home and working on my own schedule. Maybe you got to wake up earlier because you have work or school. And so you might want to try and get in bed even earlier. But me, I try to stay in bed as long as possible. That's the goal, is to sleep as long as possible. Don't look at it like, oh, you know what I'm saying, I got to get 8 hours of sleep. You feel me? Or you got 6 hours of sleep and you're like, oh, I feel pretty all right. I'll get up now. Nah, like 8 hours is the minimum. If you could get 10 hours of sleep, bro, that would be amazing. If you could get 12 hours of sleep, that would be amazing. And you might think to yourself, what? I'm losing so much time in the day. Bro, you're becoming better. Do you get that? You're becoming better. The longer you can stay asleep, and this is healthy sleep. This is you're working out, you're getting sun exposure. During the day, you're not taking naps, shit like that. If you can get that much sleep, you are going to be so much more productive and efficient. Though you would have reduced the amount of time that you have in the day, you're still going to get more done than if you only had 6 hours of sleep. The quality of your work will be better. Your attitude will be better. You won't get sick as often. You'll live longer. You'll look younger. You'll be stronger. So trust me, in the long run, you still get more done and you have more time in the long run.
Eating habits. You're slowly killing your testosterone when you eat certain food. Food like bread, desserts, processed foods generally are not good for your testosterone levels. But then sugar is probably the number one thing you need to stay away from if you want to boost your testosterone.
Yeah,
and since most fast
foods,
food and snacks contain sugar, you definitely need to work on your entire diet. One thing a lot of people think is healthy but is destroying their testosterone is soy. Soy is high in phytoestrogens, which are plant-derived substances that work similarly to estrogen. And let's not forget alcohol. Stop binge drinking every Friday just because you've had a stressful week. It's doing serious damage.
I would look into the soy thing. I actually recently was listening to a podcast by an exercise scientist, and apparently the soy thing is greatly misrepresented. But you can look into that. Alcohol, though, for sure. Alcohol for sure is crushing your testosterone. I would say it's worth giving that up completely, as well as caffeine, just so that you can optimize your sleep.
Damage to your testosterone. Your mental health. A lot of week. Let's not forget alcohol. Stop is actually destroying their testosterone levels. It's not just about what's happening on the inside. The way you think can also affect your testosterone. So if you're always focusing on negative emotions or thinking negative thoughts, or always anxious, your mind is always stressed, which means your cortisol levels will be raised. And when your cortisol levels are high, your testosterone levels will lower as a response.
I completely agree with this. Of course, there's no way for me to really prove it. But I do believe this is a huge factor as to why my testosterone levels were still pretty high, despite the fact that I have been, drinking alcohol once or twice a week. I, of course, would never get shit-faced or drunk, but I get a little drunk, right? You drink a couple beers, 2-3 beers, you're going to be a little buzzed, but I wasn't getting shit-faced, you feel me? But I was drinking beer a couple times a week. I have been eating pizza and junk food and shit like that on a regular basis, and my sleep has been pretty dog shit. So why were my T levels still so high? I think a big part of that is because of the mindset practices that I've been implemented in my life, the kind of shit that I've been talking about for quite a while now. And so because of that, despite all of that other shit, my stress levels have still been fairly low. I am the least stressed I've been in my entire life consistently. I have almost no negative thoughts. I don't ever feel bad throughout the day. Why? Because feeling bad is a result of what you focus on mentally, right? Yeah, there are things that pop up in my mind, things, potentially bad things, bad memories, possible things that you could worry about. But I have gotten so good at stopping those thoughts right in their tracks very quickly once I recognize that I'm having it. I've gotten so good at it. It stands out so much when I don't feel good. When I start to worry about something or become anxious about something or upset with something, it is such a visceral feeling because I have made it a mission not to entertain that shit. And so I think because of that, my cortisol levels have probably been very low for somebody who's doing that and also who drinks coffee occasionally. I stopped again drinking it for this reason, prioritizing sleep. But I do believe, just off of my own experience in getting my testosterone levels checked, this is huge. So the big takeaway, this is the last point. The three big things. All this other stuff is important. Your diet, of course, is important. If I had to rank this shit from top to bottom of importance, I would say sleep. Prioritizing sleep, that's the most important thing. After that, your mindset. After that, your diet. And you can put in with sleep, alcohol, and caffeine. Your alcohol and consumption and caffeine consumption can greatly impact your sleep quality. I would say alcohol is way worse than caffeine. You know, for sure, I would encourage you to cut alcohol out completely out of your lifestyle. Yeah, special occasions, things of that sort. Okay, do your thing. Once in a blue moon, okay, do your thing. But it shouldn't be a part of your lifestyle. It shouldn't be a part of how you enjoy your life or unwind during the week. It shouldn't be a part of your lifestyle. Like Christmas isn't a part of my lifestyle. It's something that rolls around once a year that I enjoy when it happens. But I don't have Christmas as a part of my lifestyle. You get what I'm saying? Coffee, caffeine, I think that can still be a part of your lifestyle. You just got to be very disciplined with it. You can't have too much of it. Personally, I'm not having any of it because I so eagerly want to optimize my sleep to its highest potential. But if I were to still drink caffeine, it would be limited to 1 cup of coffee a day. And I would have it like early in the morning, bro. Like I wouldn't have coffee after maybe like 9 a.m., 10 a.m., the latest. Probably 9 a.m., bro. It would be like a early in the morning thing, very early in the morning. That's it. So that's what I would recommend for you guys if you wanted some insight on how to maximize your testosterone. And then, of course, the other things, getting the junk food out, getting out the processed sugar, reducing the amount of plastics you're exposed to, those things will, of course, help. But I think that's the kind of shit to take you from, you know what I'm saying, 90% to 95%. The shit that's going to get you from, you know, scoring a D to scoring a B or an A is going to be sleep and the other major things we spoke about. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe, all of that.